Virginia state legislators will be convening later today in a special session to debate the passing of a 2-year state budget proposal.
But within the proposal, which became public Sunday night, lies new language on marijuana laws about how Virginians caught with illegal amounts should be punished. But legal analysts say the changes could just murky the waters of understanding for citizens. Caroline Coburn joins us live at the Capitol with the discussions happening today. Caroline.
Well, Robin Reba, the proposal today includes a criminal misdemeanor for more than 4 ounces of marijuana, possession of more than 4 ounces in the public. And that is something that is confusing to a lot of people because just a year ago, when Democrats controlled the General Assembly, they legalized up to an ounce of marijuana for personal use, and anything below a pound was punishable by just a $25 fine. Now, this budget compromise is being backed by House Appropriations Chairman Barry Knight. He's a Republican, and Senate Finance and Appropriations Chair Janet Howell, a Democrat. Under it, anyone caught with more than 4 ounces of marijuana in public would face a fine of up to $500 plus a criminal record. And a second or subsequent offense would be considered a Class 2 misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Right now, possession of anything above an ounce and up to a pound is punishable only by a $25 civil infraction, while possession of more than a pound is considered a felony. Now, the state's Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission recommended this change and that Virginia follow the lead of other states and create a criminal misdemeanor for people who are in possession of what the state government deems to be too much marijuana. But some are confused as to why this is happening now, as lawmakers in both the House and the Senate had an opportunity to pass new marijuana laws a few months ago, but they failed. Take a listen to our political analyst, Dr. Bob Holsworth.
What I've seen so far is that there are a number of people who have objected to this, but a lot of people are still saying they're probably going to vote for the budget bill because they need Virginia to have a budget by the end of the month. So this is a roundabout way of doing it. I think it actually bypasses the normal channels.
Now, supporters of marijuana legalization told us the most worrisome part of this new legislation is how quickly someone could become a felon based on the amount of marijuana they possess. Because under this, obviously, edibles still considered cannabis, meaning someone who possesses up to 4 ounces of those edibles, they would be in violation of this. But not everything is bad, considering those who are supporters have a couple things they're happy this legislation would change. We're going to break down that coming up in about 30 minutes. Rob Reba.
All right, thank you, Caroline. And more on that proposed budget deal. It would also cut taxes by $4 billion over 3 years and increase state employee and teacher pay by 10% over 2 years. The proposed tax cuts include one-time rebates of up to $250 for individual taxpayers, $500 for families this year, a 78% increase in the standard deduction on state income taxes, and a refundable tax credit for low-income working families. This is all according to the Richmond Times-Dispatch, by the way. The plan does not include Governor Glenn Youngkin's proposed suspension of the state gas tax. However, it does have the repeal of the 1.5% state portion of the grocery tax. We'll keep you updated.